Hello everyone, welcome back to the Python and Pandas tutorial series. Till now, we have seen for loop, while loop and how to use the control statements in Python. We also covered the nested loops. And in this video, we will see how and why to use else with the loops. So we will be placing an else block along with the loops. And remember, else block can be used with both while and for loops. And the purpose is whenever you have some code that is to be executed only when the loop completes normally. Means the loop body is executed for all the iterations and the condition which is provided in the loop became false and it did not encounter any break statement or no exception has occurred inside the loop body. Then the else body will be executed so that user knows that the entire loop is executed successfully without a break or exception. So we will see some example and we will see how to use else with for and while loop. If you see the syntax, you will be having the normal syntax of for and while along with the expression and the code block to execute for that while or for, followed by the else block, and this else block will be having a code to execute if the loop completes without any break or exception. Let us see this in some example. Open your Visual Studio Code and create a new file else in loopsdemo.py. Right? In this we will see how to use else block with a for loop and it executes normally. So let us take some for loop for maybe some variable I in the range of some numbers. I'm not giving start and end range. I will just take 3 so that I am going to work with 0, 1, 2. And what we are doing is I simply print maybe iteration number comma I. I'm going to print iteration number and I. I will add one else block here else and what to do in the else block. So I will write something loop completed successfully, no break or encountered. Okay, no break or exception encountered. If you save this and clear the console, execute this code Python and the file name is else loops demo.else in else in loops demo.py. If you run this, see iteration 0, iteration 1 and iteration 2 and loop completed successfully. We did not encounter any break or exception inside the loop body. That is the reason else is actually executed. Got it? So this is the way how we use else along with for. Similarly, I will just comment this and write one more loop and we will see how to use else with while loop. So while or before using while we actually take some variable and put some value initialization value x equal to 0. Now I have x and while that x is less than 3, I am doing the same thing. Okay, while x is less than 3, simply print iteration and I mean x over here. So make sure to increment x by 1 and write the else, and you can write the same thing now. Loop completed successfully, like that. So if you clear this and run the code again, you see the same thing. So we see the loop is executed in its entire. Nothing happened in between. Now let us see what happens if we have a break. Here we will see having a break. I uncommented this and maybe instead of 3 take this as 5 and here if I equal to 3, maybe at 3 I just want to break. Got it? So it will be terminating the loop entirely. And if you run this now, clear, you see iteration 0, 1, 2 are done. And whenever I is 3, it encountered break. and the loop got terminated and you see the else block is not executed. The same thing happens even when you get some exception kind of thing. Got it? So similar thing can be done in while loop also. Maybe you can comment this now and make a copy of while code and uncomment this. So in Visual Studio, select all the lines, whatever you want to comment, and press Ctrl KC to comment and press Ctrl KU to uncomment. So now the similar thing we will do over here. So instead of I equal to 3, what I will do is I equal to 1. Here it is x. When I is x, I will simply break the loop. And if you run this, you will see only iteration 0 is printed, because when I is incremented and becomes 1, the condition is checked here x equal to 1 and it encountered a break, and hence the entire loop is terminated and the else block is also not executed. So this is how we work with else in loops. So we saw we can use the else block along with while and for loops, and else block is executed only when the loop is completed normally. So whenever we encountered a break or some exception inside the loop body, the else block is not executed, and we saw some examples for this. And in the next video we will cover some advanced concepts in loops. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.